Sorry. Yeah, Olga brought me holes, you know, and she brought it like this. Olga must do everything in style.
Hello, hello, hello. Who do we have out there in the chat tonight? Let's see. You could hear us. That's good. Okay, something changed. And hi, guys. Welcome back. I am joined once again by Marek. Marek, welcome to the stream.
Hi, Joel. Hi, everybody.
Wow, it's good to be here. Apparently, we had a hot mic in the start. Luckily, we didn't leak any secrets, but I don't know how that's possible. Some kind of audio. We were trying to fix some audio settings here before the stream, but at least you can hear us all. That's the main thing. So, Marek, obviously, you know, we're not in the studio this time, but as soon as we can be, we'll be back together. But, Marek, I have to ask, it's been now 1 month and a half nearly, I think, around that time, since Space Engineers 2 released into early access. So how's it been? How's it been like, watching the community feedback, the reactions, the ships being built, all of it?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was basically what I was expecting and predicting. So that's good. We got a lot of feedback from players. We also see players building ships. So that's also some kind of feedback because we learn from it, because we see what's important for people, what's working, what's not working, and so on. So that's great. And other than that, we have been very busy working on the next updates, like the one that we'll be releasing tonight, and the other updates. So you know, I'm already in the future with my mind. Yeah. So it was good, and also. As I really wanted this update, I wanted SE2 to be out in the public, so we can talk about it and share with players from the beginning, from like the earliest possible stages of SE2, and that happened when we released on early access. So that's also good, and now it's just about a lot of hard work, you know, in next years to put everything together.
Definitely, no, 100%, and you know, I mean, it's. We've you know, myself and Aaron have been checking out a lot of the builds that have been shared, and it's been, you know, we've been looking at screenshots, we've been kind of sharing directly, but today it's about to get very, very easy for us to be able to share builds and check them out, and all of us, you know, everyone can check them out here. So it's definitely another big milestone to reach today, because it's a, you know, the workshop has been a huge part of the community in Space Engineers 1, and I really do think it's going to really elevate SE2 as well. So it's yeah, obviously today's very exciting. We're not going to spend too long, guys. We're going to unleash the release pretty soon here. But as we said, there's a lot of we are just at the beginning here, and you know, really. There's a lot of, yeah, so much to come. But Marek, one of the things that I kind of wanted to bring up was, you know, how some of the feedback that we've had, even since the game released into early access, has actually led to the contents of VS 1.1 here even. I just wonder if you, just to kind of fill in a little bit on that side of things. Like, for example, the y-axis invert was one of the things that came up, right? This was something that I think we would have, you know, gotten to, but this was made very clear that this was a must for players. And even the workshop itself, right? The workshop, there was, when we announced the workshop, we obviously made some changes there and decided to go with Steam Workshop. And I think this is, you know, a key example of the community spoke really loudly about this, and you know, this is what they wanted. So We try to accommodate that, and this is, I hope, guys, like like an example of what you can expect moving forward here, like a close collaboration with the community on the features and the kind of direction of the game here. So anything to add to that, Marek? But yeah.
I think you said it very nicely. The mouse controls that we are releasing today, so people can set the sensitivity of the mouse and also the invert. It's a small change. We eventually wanted to do it someday, of course, but there were other higher priorities, so we didn't put it to VS1. But we heard the feedback from the community; they really wanted it, and so we are giving it to them because they wanted it. And the same with Steam Workshop, because originally we wanted to do Mod.io because we wanted to make it compatible between PC and consoles. But players, they really players and modders, they really explained that they really would like to, or they would prefer stay with Steam Workshop, as a platform. Also the backend, because they are used to it. So again, and this is the reason why I wanted SC2 to be out in the public and shared with the community as early as possible, so that we can have this like two-directional communication, and it's not just us, like in our bedrooms working on a game. And so that's very good, and it also feels much more interesting to be engaged with the community.
Definitely. No, I think that's also just, we are just, I think, reiterating here the fact that, we wanted to include this. Obviously, even now, people still ask, oh, why did you release it when you released it? And the big thing was wanting to include the community in the process as soon as possible. And, I see players have already done amazing things with the game, and it's only going to go crazy from here, to be honest. So, kind of leading on to that, just, asking you guys that when this drops, please go crazy with this workshop. We want to see everything in the next couple of days here. We want to see you guys go mad about it. We're really looking forward to seeing which builds will be at the top of the workshop by the end of week 1. It's going to be very interesting to see. And that, also just goes for the Discord, social media, and the support site. We've had a lot of support and kind of feedback and suggestions via all these platforms. And the team continues to monitor these, so keep that up as well, guys. It's really vital feedback, and we love hearing everything about how the players are getting on with the game. So Marek, just we haven't got much to get through here before we release the update. I just wanted to have a little reminder. I think everyone's kind of familiar with just the what comes next. Actually, what comes next? It's kind of like an overview and a little bit maybe again on this vertical slice strategy that we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so vertical slice strategy is that we looked on the entire project scope of SC2, everything we wanted the final game to contain, and then we split it to these vertical slices, where each vertical slice is adding complete, like a vertical slice experience in final or almost final quality, polished and bug-free and everything. And you can say that it's updates, but we really want to call it vertical slices because we don't want to, send the impression that it's just some update and, half of the things are missing and or not working properly and so on. So what we want to do is that, and we showed it with vertical slice 1, the first one, that it was creative mode with physics and new render and, new character, new animations and everything. And in a final quality, or almost final, because we will probably be still polishing and tweaking things, and then we will go with more vertical slices. And tonight we are releasing smaller vertical slice called vertical slice 1.1 Steam Workshop, and then soon there will be 1.2, which will focus on another improvements to the game, and then there will be a bigger one, 1.5, which will focus on modding. So we will release VRage Hub and VRage Editor, so you will be able to start modding the game, like adding your blocks or changing some textures and so on. And we will also release it with proper documentation and some guidelines or tutorials. And we also try to make it easy to use. That's quite important for us. So in, let's say, few months, there will be vertical slice 1.5. Then I think there will be 1.6, which will probably include the feedback that we are accumulating from players, and we'll put it to 1.6. Also possible that in 1.6 there will be some feedback that we will gain from releasing 1.5, the modding. And then eventually, sometime at the end of the year, or hopefully way before end of the year, there will be Vertical Slice 2, which is survival and planets. So you will be able to play in survival with some new survival advancements that we created for SC2. And you will have 2 planets. Yeah, and then there will be VS3, which will focus on volumetric water. So you will be able to build water infrastructure, submarines, pilot them to under the sea and so on. So, and then there will be more vertical slices focusing on multiplayer, NPCs, story campaign, and more.
Yeah.
And so that's the vertical slice strategy. And as I said, the reason why we are doing it incremental like this and not just waiting until the game is finished and then released is that for us it's just more fun to share this experience with the community and also get the feedback from the community. That's very important.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the things that you brought up was fitting in, maybe we didn't have it in the initial roadmap, but maybe a 1.6, right? And as we can see, you guys are already giving a lot of feedback, a lot of things that you really want. And I think obviously there are things that I would say are like low-hanging fruits, which are like small changes which will make a big impact right away. So there's lots of things, guys, that can evolve in terms of our plan based on your feedback. The other one, Marek, I'm always getting asked this. People are asking when VS2, when Planet Survival. I think you just said there, right? Like what we're not having any dates, but you kind of what we're roughly targeting, right? What did you say there, Marek? I think you said something. I think.
Well, I would say second half of this year.
Yeah.
And hopefully not, that close to the end of the year.
Right.
So, but it's a big update. Actually, it's very, very big. That's the tricky part. So of course we have internal deadlines, but I would like to speak, publicly about the deadlines when I'm 100% sure that we can make it. So basically, in the moment when we're already polishing VS2.
Yeah.
And we are still, in the early stages of VS2.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. And I think everyone wants this. Everyone wants each of the vertical slices to be stable. So at least it's a good answer, guys. So VS2 when? Planets when? Well, by the end of the year, hopefully. TM. So that's going to make people. I mean, because people are asking me, and I think we had already mentioned that. To be honest, we said in the next 6 months it was going to be workshop, modding and stuff, and then after 6 months, then we'll look at one of the kind of bigger ones. So I think it's key because I think this should be an example of the fact that development is going pretty rapidly here. Like it's not like players have to wait a very long time for some of these features that in SE1 they did have to wait years for. The journey that SE2 is taking is different to SE1. I'm always reminding people of this, that it's to not necessarily compare them in that way because obviously the priorities and the team is efficient as ever. So it's playing out a bit differently here. But anyway, talking of development in general, we also get a lot of questions still, Marek, about Space Engineers 1. And I just wanted again to have you here today to reiterate our support for SE1 and a little bit, I guess, what's coming for SE1.
Yeah. So I actually just had a production call with the SE1 team. They showed me what's in the new update 206. And to be honest, I don't know what I can, leak and what I cannot. So I will keep it kind of low, but it looks amazing. Like there are some new blocks that I just love. They're so amazing. And I was actually joking at the meeting that the blocks in SE1, they are looking so good that actually SE1 is kind of getting close to SE2 visual quality.
Wow.
And the only difference is that SE2 obviously has better render. And but what the artists are doing in SE1 with all the blocks, I think it's absolutely amazing. It just looks so good. So there will be so good new blocks in the new 206 update, and also 206 update is very close. Again, I probably cannot say the release date, but it's months from now. But by months, I mean like 1 or 2 or 3 or something like that. Just very small number. And also, of course, there are some gameplay improvements. that will be in SC1. But again, our commitment to SC1 is still like we are committed, and we'll be maintaining and developing SC1 for as long as it will be needed. So releasing SC2 doesn't mean end to SC1, not at all. SC1 team, they just continue like nothing happened. So, and again, the roadmap for SC1 looks very interesting. We also discussed 207, so the update after the next one. That one also looks interesting, and I think it will be very nice for people who like survival elements of the game.
And that's big, I think. And then we are definitely saying this, guys, that SE1 has so much good stuff still coming, and these games will be, both SE1 and SE2 will continue to be developed in parallel, for the foreseeable future. And there's some really, really nice content, for SE1. I think me and Marek were getting hyped about it. Marek might have mentioned the word bubbles, whatever that might mean. But yeah, it's going to be cool, and you guys aren't going to have to wait that long to find out about that. So that was just a point on SE1, and I think we're almost there now. Just a few more points. One of the reminders that we have for you guys is to definitely sign up for the newsletter if you're not already, but also to check out Marek's weekly dev diaries, because this gives you a little insight of what he's up to on a weekly basis, kind of from his perspective, what the teams are looking at. So definitely check out Marek's blog. Every Thursday, Marek posts a new blog, and there will be one this Thursday as well. And some of them, Marek, are really juicy. There's some really nice behind-the-scenes videos. There was some amazing water ones. There's some of the, the flora that's being designed for SE2. There's some very, very nice sneak peeks into the future. So definitely wanted to kind of remind you guys that there's more information than ever following the development of both games here. So that was one point. The penultimate I have here before we do this is Space Engineers 2 merch is now available on Zazzle. So you guys can now get merch with the Almagest system, the bearing project. There's all kinds of items to check out. So I'm sure one of the mods can get a link for that in the chat here. But wanted to shout out that again, SE2 merch is now available. And I think finally here, Marek, I just wanted to kind of mention that how I think the team are really enthused right now, and we're really on this kind of momentum and happy with how things are going and how the community is reacting. And, just in general, I'm always saying, I'll be saying it for at least another 6 months. We're just getting started is what I wanted to say. So anything else on that point, Marek, before we roll the clip, I think?
Maybe just one last thing is that we always repeat on the streams that people or players who are not okay to play SC2 in its early stages, and they want more, they want some gameplay and more content and more comparable content compared to SC1. They can wait before buying the game, so it's totally okay. So I think only people who really are certain that they want to experience the journey of developing SC2 and that they want to play with the current version of the game, only those should buy the game. So I just wanted to emphasize this.
I think that's a solid thing to emphasize there. So definitely, guys, the game. Many of you have bought already. Let's actually see. Show of hands in the chat right now. 07's in the chat. If you have bought Space Engineers 2 already. 06 if you haven't bought it yet. I'm just curious. Do 06, 07. So 06 for not buyers, 07 for buyers. We'll see in the chats here today who, and I know that some people are waiting, Marek. There's certain blocks, there's certain features that they're really waiting on before they switch over, and that's totally okay, guys. And we always keep saying this, no pressure to buy the game until you feel like, it's your time to jump in. So that's very key. But the chat is flooding, Marek. I'd say today on the stream, a majority is 07s, but we do have a handful of 06s there as well, which is interesting to see. So people are standing by, I'll say. But, Marek, unless there's anything else you'd like to cover in this little intro section here, I think we can go ahead and roll the clip for VS 1.1.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, guys. So, let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Clip time.
Rise and shine, folks. I got another task from Dante. This time, he wants me to build a basic utility ship to be used as a blueprint for other engineers here in the Almagist system. The Stellar Rig will act as a universal utility class ship that can be adapted to almost every kind of job. I'll build the ship over here. Let me quickly set up the camera for you so you can watch. The process is pretty easy. I build the ship from modules I have created before. Then blueprint it and send it over to the others so they can adapt what I've done to their needs. There, all done. The next step is creating the blueprint out of this beauty. All done. Just uploading it to the workshop and people can directly start using it. That's it for me today. I wonder what my fellow space engineers will create. Steam Workshop is live now. Share your blueprints and discover the creations already there.
And there we go, guys. That is the trailer for Space Engineers 2 Vertical Slice 1.1 Steam Workshop. So, Marek, I think it's time. I think, right, to unleash the release. Is that right? I want to give the command.
Yes, yes. So please unleash the release, team.
All right. Release is unleashing. And... give me just a second here. We are going to be joined by Aaron to go through today's update. Give me just a second here as I bring Aaron in. Ooh. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to copy this. I think we can hear you, Aaron. You can go ahead and say hello. And
beam me in, Joel.
I'm beaming you in. I've got semi connection here. We're just trying to patch you through.
Okay. Patch me through.
Where are you missing?
Standing by. I've just seen that trailer and it was very beautiful, wasn't it?
It was incredible.
I love that ship coming together like that, piece by piece. I think my favourite part of that trailer is when the spray paint gun is pointed at the ship and it slowly transforms from a whitish grey ship to a lovely blue as each block is coloured.
No, it was a beautiful trailer. I'm transitioning us in now. Here we go. So you should be able to see us all, guys. Just we can hear you, we can see you, everybody. So welcome, Aaron.
Hello.
Another stream, and I mean, I know you've been excited for this release.
Oh yes, yeah. I think everyone's been excited though for the workshop. The workshop feature is magnificent. It means we can get sharing, we can share out our creations. There's people probably who just want to get their grids on the workshop to send to a friend so they can test out what other people are building as well. So there's going to be so many possibilities just with the workshop alone, let alone the sensitivity and other things that we're going to get into. But I won't say too much more. Yeah,
we're gonna quickly go through this here, I think, and just kind of go over some of the changes. And then we're going to actually, together here with Marek, and then we will load up the game and we'll actually showcase some of this stuff. And you'll see that beautiful hangar. That hangar that you see is on the workshop here. I mean, actually, just while we have you guys, let's actually, let's just have a quick sneak peek at the game here. So I'm going to load into this world. And I think, yeah, if Marek and Aaron, you guys can see the stream here, and we'll have a little look at what's going on. But the blog post is live. I'm going to go through it like it's, we'll make our way through this here. But I wanted to show you this fantastic asteroid base, which is on the workshop. And honestly, I think I will use this for, for kind of showcasing ships and stuff moving forward, because it's such a pretty world indeed. And I can, if I do G now and go to blueprints, So it's going to load all my blueprints, and then I can click Browse Workshop. And look at this. We can see all of the different builds. And these are all official builds, so we do want to mention that so far, there hasn't been... Oh, it looks like this, we're waiting now. We're waiting for community builds to load in. But these are some of the keen official builds that you can check out. Obviously, you've got the red ship there. You've got some modules. You've got the classic blue. And you can expect this official Keen workshop to also be expanding in the future. But I really wanted to just... It's a little bit different to usual, Aaron, but I wanted to get into the game really quick and just show how the interface looks like. We have these different toggles here. And here's the world. Here's the Polis 1 station. So blueprints, worlds. And we have...
This is great as well, Joel, because we've got a series of blueprints here that are pre-made by our developers. So if you're not too hot at building, or you're just getting in, you can use these modules and assemble some of your own ships and have a little bit of a test out of the building system until you get a bit more confident when it comes to the building.
Definitely, 100%, I think. And it's that's what I've always saying, I think, and I know Marek feels about this as well, is that the modular building is a huge part of Space Engineers 2, and it kind of helps with this accessibility and also rapid building, right, Marek?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's actually kind of fresh idea, a couple months old, because of course we wanted the blueprint building and modular building, but then later we realized that maybe that's the way a new player should start building, like already having some blueprints in their toolbar, and very quickly putting together, with just few clicks, putting together a ship and then using it, flying somewhere and having that experience. So I think we'll be investigating, exploring this direction even more. Again, not taking anything from, how people are used to do it in SE1, but more like targeting the new players so they have better experience.
Definitely. I mean, I know that even myself, I know I'm someone who can take a while to build things. So I know that even, I am really looking for... I haven't even got round to publishing my first ship yet, but it's going to happen now. It's going to happen. Now the workshop's here, right, Aaron? So...
Yeah, because I was saying to you the other day, I was saying some of the big creators who build lots of things on the workshop can now build a modular pack and allow players that are not as experienced with the building to build with their modular pack as well. So there's lots of different ideas that you could do when it comes to building your own modules.
For sure. I mean, and this is something that I really hope to see, actually, is like these module packs, which are like designed specifically by creators in the community, and they have their their specific art style that they post on the workshop, and people, it's almost like buying parts from a store that's like a branded store, if that makes sense. So just pasting in a ship here from the workshop, the one featured in the trailer. I love this, the stellar rig here. Ooh. But I think again, Marek, this hangar and the trailer in general, again, big shout out to Janusz for the trailer and to Miko for the kind of assets and the hangar you see here. But the lighting once again is displayed in all its glory here, right, guys? It's beautiful.
Yeah, and also the modules, they are made by Miko.
Yes, you'll see that here. So I can do this here. I guess what we'll do is maybe we can have a little sneak peek. I'll put a few modules on my toolbar and show you guys this, and changing up a little bit here, and then we'll go through everything in a second here. Just a little sneak peek. I'm looking for this is the bridge parts. Just trying to work out, because one of the things is, of course, is trying to work out the right size modules for the right ship. So I'll take this. I'll take a kind of habitat module. So I've got now, I've got some auxiliary thrusters here, and now I'm inside this hangar, and I can first place down the bridge. I might have to delete that smaller ship. So now we can rotate around. Give it a second.
By the way, Joel, some people, I'm reading the chat, and some people are already publishing to workshop, so it could be actually, interesting to check out.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll do that in just a second here. Yeah, you guys can be forever immortalized on this stream, and we'll show you exactly who is the first on the workshop here. So let me just do a little bit of building here, building out this ship. And actually, one of the other things I wanted to get to, I think we will get to it, is the improvements to actually copying and pasting. So it's way easier now. I mean, you should have just saw it as I did there. It's way easier now to line things up. You might have remembered that. So basically how it works is, if you copy a block, say like a 2.5 meter block, and then you paste it, the pasting grid, if that makes sense, will be in the same size as that block. So it'll be like 2.5 meter snapping. So that makes it easier. You can always switch to precision mode to make it more accurate, you know, to be more kind of custom. But you know, one of the things that we had from release was that people were saying it was kind of hard to line up builds. But one of those changes is this this new kind of specific grid snapping based on the size of what you copy, if that makes sense. Maybe Aaron can word that in a more eloquent way, but I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it made perfect sense. So basically, the precision that you can go to when it comes to placing a separate module now, it means the exact block that you select and then move to click on this other block next to it, you'll be able to place it accurately where you want it to be. So it's going to be a great improvement, and it's really easy now to align the modules, just like you said, Joel.
We'll see. It's a good test here as I align this module together. Yeah, I'm now seeing here. Let's see. Just a little bit of... all right, that looks good, I hope.
So how are you finding that mouse sensitivity, Joel?
Oh,
Because,
I haven't actually changed that yet. So let's actually showcase that, because we can do that. So if we come into the settings, guys, look what we've got here. We've got some new things, including invert mouse X, invert mouse Y. I'm not going to play with those invert settings, because that's going to throw me really off. But we have got a mouse sensitivity settings. Let me actually... I'm a bit of a pro gamer, so let me boost this up to 1.2 and see how I get on here. So here's some of the new settings that you guys, I know, really, really hotly requested here. That's actually better. Yeah, I like that a bit more here. That's actually nicer. Thanks, Aaron, for reminding me.
I know a lot of people... Yeah, a lot of people wanted either a less sensitive mouse for certain building situations, or for when they were zooting around, they wanted to be able to flick the mouse about with tiny little movements. So they've gone with the mouse sensitivity here, but it's only just the tip of the iceberg in addressing some of the controls that we're looking into as well. Yeah,
and I think Marek mentioned that. Like, I think there's a lot of things around controls that, well, that was quick. Just built those two things beautifully. This is way smoother than on my first attempt when the game first came out. Like, I got those thruster modules on there very nicely indeed. But yes, 100% Aaron. I think, Marek, you also mentioned already that when it comes to, you know, controls and stuff, there are still ways for us to expand on control customization, which will come in the future. But this is a great start, and I think, honestly, this is going to help people play the game who were previously struggling, because some of these control things were really making it hard for certain players to play. So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's have a look, Matt. Let's have a look, guys. I've just built my first ship here. Maybe I can show me publishing it.
It's quite nice, that.
It's very simple here, but let's do it. I want to be one of the first in the workshop. So I'm going to do Control B here, confirm the selection. Here it is. So I'll save this. I'll call this my first ship. I'm committing now. My first ship from modules, I'll call it. I still want to build something from scratch, so I'll call this. I'll save this here. And then we're going to just show you guys... everyone's in disbelief that I'm playing the game. So where is my newly created ship here? Where are we? I got some very nice ships in here, guys, I have to admit.
Because as soon as you publish that as well, it would be really nice to see just how much has actually been posted on the workshop already, because I'm having a quick flick through here to see how many are going on, and it looks like we've got a few posts already hitting.
The next thing, once I've published this, I'm actually going to open the workshop and see what people have been doing. So you guys can go and subscribe to my 3-module ship. Very impressive. Took me a lot of effort. My first ship in 84 years. So now it's there. It's on the workshop officially. Published workshop item, visible to everyone. Incredible. And I can and then I can go, if I go back here, let's go to the blueprints. Let's browse the workshop, the in-game workshop, of course. And here we go, guys. Look, we've got the utility ship. This was a ship imported from SE1. Let's scroll down here and see if any others are coming up. Wild block. We have a blue cube. Very nice. We have the Eagle 2 cargo by Mad Scottish Gecko. Blue ship gone red. T-junction corridor. Space tic-tac-toe. Water scanner. Ooh, very keen. Monolith. Red ship gone blue. Oh, that's very sus. We got some sus ones on here as well here. But that's honestly, Marek and Aaron, this is amazing just how quickly it's filling up. Like, look at this. I'm scrolling, and already
we were standing by. We knew it. We knew it as soon as this went live. People were standing by. There was even people trying to post to the workshop before the workshop was even there.
I heard about this.
Standing there on the refresh button, rapidly pressing it until they could hit publish. But it's a nice collection that we've got there, and it's going to be really nice to have a review of these in an actual world, isn't it, Joel, when we do some more spotlights?
Oh, 100%. It's going to be so much easier now. Now we can just open up the in-game browser and be like, what can we have a little look at today? And we can actually open it, and we can actually, see who created this as well. So this is created by Wolf Knight. And we actually looked at this fighter before. This is a very... I don't think we looked at it in-game. So I'm going to subscribe to the ultra sleek blue fighter, and then I'm going to place this in the game here. This is a very nice one by Wolf Knight. And,
looks like the Titanic there as well.
There is a Titanic, yes. But look at this fighter, guys. This is fantastic. But it feels very, very keeny with the colors, if that makes sense. And I know, Marek, there's been a couple of builds that have been published that they really look like they could have been done by one of our designers in terms of, following those kind of classic keen colors that, we always are using in our assets. So, super easy.
Yeah, it's nice to finally see this, isn't it? It's finally see this fighter actually flying around now as well.
It's amazing, yeah. And I like how easy it is to both publish and also access builds and just have a nice browse in game. It's very satisfying here. And I was able, and I know players are going to be diving into the game. There's been so many builds that we've showcased, both in streams and on socials, that players are like, oh, I want to play, I want to get this, and now they can. So very, very cool indeed. So I do want to go through the blog post a bit here, and actually just make sure we go through all the points, including some of the improvements coming up. We can come back to the game in a little bit, and I think if we come back in 20 minutes, we'll probably see even more builds published here. So you guys go surprise us, and we'll just make sure that we've conveyed all the important information from today. But I couldn't resist diving into the game already and doing a little bit of gameplay showing, just how easy it is to, get stuff from the workshop here. So let me bring this up.
Because I know the next topic that we're looking at, because we've done quite well actually, Joel. We've covered the initial few, the mouse sensitivity, the pivot controls and whatnot. It's moving on to the game saves and advanced world settings. That's the next thing we're going to have a look at.
We can. I think, in fact, Aaron, what we can do is we'll change it up a little bit here. I think we can do that in game, and then when we get to the blog post, we can just kind of skim over that and say, "Hey, look, we already showed this." If that makes sense. Let me just back out, and I'll show you guys that. So if I go to load game. Oh, hold on. There's a couple of things. If I go to load game, I have the Polis 1 station, and you'll now see a couple more settings here. We have duplicate save, we have publish to workshop, we have advanced settings. So you can publish the worlds right from here as well. That's important for world publishing. And then the advanced settings, we have a couple of things here. We have both right now the option to disable or enable autosave, which is a big one. But we can rename it, we can add a description. But also, this is where you'll get backup saves. And I know, Marek, we talked about this on one of the streams, and this is also a very important change for players who might make a mistake and undo can't fix the problem. Well, they'll have those backups, right?
Yeah. I almost forgot about it, but now we have the backup system there. And by the way, people they were asking about the key bindings, customizable key bindings, and we are working on it. So it will also be released because many people are asking for it, and we want to give people what they want. So I think it will be in one of the next updates.
There we go, and that's a big one because I know people will probably be asking, okay, yeah, when are the next key? So that's a big one, guys. Fully customizable key bindings coming soon. I had to load up another world here, but now I have the example. You have the main save, and then look at this, super easy. All the saves, all the thumbnails of the backups. And this is quite big because I can't remember, Aaron. Maybe you remember. Did we have screenshots for the backups in SE1? Because we did have a backup system, but I don't know if you had the screenshots for those backups.
Not on the backups, but we did have a generic screenshot that was saved, so you could view it when you're on the files outside of game.
Yeah, outside of the game,
this is
yes.
nice and new.
Yeah. That's what I remembered. Outside the game you can, but I think this is much nicer. And it still comes back. Even the backup system, guys, is a next like leap over SE1 here. So this is very, very nice stuff. So that was just kind of showcase. Go ahead.
The major thing about this, though, is the autosave. You can now turn the autosave off. So if you're about to enter into a disaster, you can disable autosave so it won't save after the disaster that you had. So this is perfect for if you're doing some battle damage testing or you're ramming ships into each other, seeing what happens. Make sure you disable the autosave and then you can save it manually. So that's the key takeaway I'd have from the advanced world settings there, that enable and disable the autosave.
That's a big one. That's a really, I think it's probably one of the biggest settings to have right now. And there will be more advanced world settings, of course, in the future, but autosave is a big one. It's the one that I always turn off, personally. So, of course, you can access the workshop from the, from the main menu as well. I also wanted to show how you'll find subscribed worlds, guys. So you'll go to New Game, and obviously we can see all campaign, survival, coming soon, creative. And then if we go to worlds at the end, we will see a couple things here. We'll see the Concordia research facility and the empty world, and the little Keen icon indicates that these are official, Keen worlds. And then we have the workshop worlds, the Polis 1 station. And this is actually, this is also a big change, I think, for browsing worlds to start, is having all of the worlds in this big grid like this. All of them. And I think it'll be quite a thing to, when you're scrolling through and you can search and you can sort the worlds as well. This is a very nice feature, I think. And I really like this, the way this is laid out, guys. This is very cool. So I think on that point, now we've done that, we can come back, guys, and I will check out the workshop. Let's go over the blog post here, and we'll kind of skim over the bits that we covered on in game, which was nice. A little bit different today's stream, but I think it worked out right. So let me bring up the display here, and you guys can check this out. So, right, here we are then. So, and I'll hand it over to Marek and Aaron at certain points here for them to kind of expand a little bit on these points. So, yes, vertical slice 1.1 Steam Workshop is here. We'll scroll down here. It's our first vertical slice update since the release. And this will look better as it's kind of zoomed in here, but this again is the summarizing. Steam Workshop, advanced world settings, improve, and also this as well, which you guys might notice, and maybe Marek can expand on this part and that's the improved performance when pasting and placing grids, right, Marek? Because when the game first came out, there was some delay that you were waiting, and maybe you can speak on the team's efforts to optimize this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're always optimizing. Even I would say the performance that's in the game right now, it's just the early stage, and it will get much more performant, meaning more ships can be simulated in parallel, with better FPS and so on. So, and there was some little when you were copy pasting and snapping, and now it's fixed. But to be honest, there is so many other use cases that we are optimizing and that we need to optimize, that this is just one of many. But it's important, but just one of many.
I say, like with a lot of things, guys, just the beginning. So let's scroll down here and we'll cover this. So again, we will be able to skim over some of this, guys, because we did cover a lot of it already. So this is, again, Steam Workshop for blueprints and worlds right now. Obviously modding is coming in the future, so obviously there has to be modding Steam Workshop as well, and obviously modding is coming in one of the next bigger updates as well. And maybe, Aaron, you can touch on the guide we have here. So there is a guide of how to upload to the workshop. It is pretty straightforward, but still we have a guide there.
Yeah. So the guide will be out. It is really straightforward. Joel's actually shown you how to upload to the workshop
live,
publishing his first ship already live. Yeah. So it's really straightforward. All you have to do is literally build your ship, hit the publish button, and it's there and ready to go. And that's exactly what you want. You want a straightforward system so you can get your grid up on the workshop and share it as fast as possible.
Yeah.
But the guide will help you do that, and it's illustrated nicely, it's voiced over, and it's kind of the idea of what we want to do with things in the future as we bring them out. We want to have a guide in place or something in place for you guys so you can refer back to it at a later stage if you ever do forget, especially when more advanced features come out as well.
More videos, that's the big thing. More videos, more content, more guides, more everything. And that's the same for modding, guys. I think one of the biggest things was, you know, talking about documentation in general, and we have documentation with Space Engineers 1, but I do think that our efforts for adding documentation for, you know, all parts of SE2 will be again on another level, so stay tuned for that. So just kind of going over this here, we have the new mouse sensitivity controls and inverted mouse settings, as we covered. You can see them here. Now, this is some of the other changes which I touched on, and one of these is the improved grid pasting mode, which makes it easier to place and align copy grids and blueprints. So after pasting, you'll now see a projection of the grid in your clipboard, and you'll kind of see this, a new banner, which will indicate when you're in pasting mode. So I'm not sure, Marek, if you want to just talk a little bit on like why the team wanted to improve this pacing mode, if this was something planned or if this was based again on community feedback.
It was partially planned, I would say, because we knew this will be needed and just didn't have time to finish it before code freeze for VS1. And but then there was feedback from the players, so we knew for sure that this is one of the things we want to improve. And because blueprint building, modular building is one of the core things that we are bringing with SE2, we really wanted to feel good. Basically, the way I think about this is that there are some loops, game loops in SE2. Core loop and then some meta loop, and then there can be like different kind of core loops and so on. Like basically how long the loops are or what's the frequency of actions. And for me, as a game director of the game, it's very important for players to be able to build something, functional, something that works within few minutes, let's say 3 or 5 minutes of launching the game, because then, gives you some kind of boost. It makes you happy, and then you're more likely to enjoy the game and stay playing the game. So making this first-time player experience, that's for me, it's actually like the most important thing I'm thinking about. And it's not just to make the game more mainstream and make more money, but the reason is actually that I consider myself to be a mainstream player, in a sense. Like, I don't like games where I need to spend 10 hours to learn something, and then maybe I will start enjoying the game. Like, I'm out, like I cannot play those games, like I need a game where I get the satisfaction or instant gratification, where I get it in like 3 minutes, and if I'm not getting it, then I'm out most of the time. Like, I'm very impatient, speaking of games, and actually movies as well, or TV shows. Like, if it doesn't interest me in a few minutes, I'm out. And I think many people are like this, so that's why it's so important for me. But I'm doing it also for myself, because I also want to enjoy Space Engineers too.
Yeah, and I think that's very, very key. And on Gael, I will always say this on the stream as well. It's about on both ends of the spectrum, guys. So both the players joining, making it more accessible, making it more intuitive, rewarding, but also on the advanced end of things. If you are playing thousands of hours, that there is always going to be more crazy ways to manipulate blocks or do very unique and interesting things. So it's really about on both sides of things, expanding those things. And I think that's honestly, it's great win-win for everybody, to be honest. So coming down here, we also have the pivot controls. It's kind of related to the pasting. So it was also kind of difficult to sometimes rotate into position. So now when you copy, cut, or create a blueprint, the pivot point that rotates with it, which is what the block, the grid rotates around, will be set to the block you aimed at during the action. So you can see in this very nice GIF here how that works out. But this also, and it's in kind of combination with the thing above this about the the general pacing mode. This is definitely going to make aligning stuff way easier here. So and this is a big one. This additionally the snap size, the pivot point, I mentioned this, now determines the default snap size of the grid. So this is, as you can see here, if you copy a 2.5 meter block, it'll switch to a 2.5 kind of snapping thing. Again, you can always adjust that if you want to have that more refined control, but by automatic, it is like this way. So it should make aligning these things and modules much better. So we're just kind of skipping over here again. Here we've got the advanced world settings. We have the auto save, which is a big deal. Definitely players wanted this. We have the backup system as well. And now, guys, Aaron and Marek, I wanted to come on to, and obviously there is a lot more improvements and bug fixes in the changelog, so I do recommend reading the changelog. But now I want to, come on to some of the work in progress things. Some of the features, that were in, lots of features, both short and long term, are not ready yet for your input, but the team is hard at work redesigning and refine them here. So obviously getting the workshop out as soon as possible was an important factor. So I don't know, guys, if you wanted to, maybe kind of, because there's a lot of points here, and I'll let the stream read over this, but maybe there's some points here that, general points for improvements that you want to bring up on today's stream. Either Marek or Aaron, if you want to take that first. Like some of the big things.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, a lot of these things we've actually covered already.
Yeah, I know. Well. We've done a good job.
Like we said, the better communication response time for complex blueprints, that was a major one. And then there's some things that are still in the works as we drop a little bit further down here as well.
Yeah, let's get to those things.
But you can see, like, as we touched on, the keyboard and mouse control customization settings are not yet here, but they're being worked on. We've touched on that as well. We've also touched on ARC GPUs having some issues, and we're looking into finding some solutions with them. We're also having a look at I think it's an FPS limit that some people are running into, and we're trying to understand the exact situation that surrounds that, and how we can optimize for that as well. But there's tons of information here of exactly what we're looking for, and the feedback that you guys have provided to us through the support portal has allowed us just to open a line of communication and find out exactly what we need to look at in some of these cases.
Yeah, definitely. And I think some of the changes here, just on the screen right now, I just to pull out a few, displaying Steam Workshop collections in game, for example. And this comes back to this idea of being able to, collections are already supported by Steam by default, but this is about having them in game. So we talked about these module packs and stuff like that. That's one of those things. But there's also changes about, everything's public by default. So, unlisted and private is something that we also have to kind of work on here. But still, you guys can get started right now. Yes, we covered the mouse and keyboard controls. Go on.
Some of the exciting things that people want to hear about as well is the inverse schematics. So how the character is stepping on the different hills and objects as they're moving around is still being improved. There's an inventory system that will be implemented in a future update, so that's all exciting. And we're also looking to implement undo and redo functionality for the paint tool. So you'll notice that's written down there as well. So these are really quite hot things, because everyone wants to be able to paint something and then undo the paint once they've made a mistake as well.
Definitely. Definitely. I know the undo's already saved a lot of people when they've been building here, but the paint one is going to be a big one too. So yeah, and this is another one I'm just pulling out a couple. I'm sure a lot of these things you guys can read over and you're probably pleased to see, but one of the other things, the block selection via the R key. This is something that players have definitely reported that there's a lot of players who would like to see this a little bit differently, and this is a temporary mechanism and will be redesigned in a near update. So that's also an important one there. So yeah, we have some points of performance here. So always going to be working on performance. It's very early days for performance optimizations, guys, of course, but they will come. And with being scalable and the data oriented, it's going to be, the potential performance gains is massive here. Let's see. I'm just going a little scroll over here. Is there anything else, Marek, that you would like to pull out particularly? It's a really nice list here. If there's anything else from this particular list you'd like to kind of comment on, please feel free.
Yeah. I will add a few things. So we're also working on the new ship controls that I think are really much better, much more intuitive than the current ones. Basically, the way it works is that you see, the cursor, you point somewhere, the ship rotates, as fast as it can based on the gyros that it has. And I think it just feels much better than, the old one where you need to be moving the mouse, and the rotation of the ship is determined by how much you move the mouse. And so sometimes it feels like, like you're moving the mouse like crazy, but because it's a heavy ship, it doesn't want to turn. And it's quite, I don't think it's a good experience. So I think we really improved this one. So that will come. Then the off-center camera, which means that in third-person mode, the camera, currently the camera is like behind the character and like slightly above the character. But it will be on the right side, 20 centimeters, like on the right side of his right shoulder. And the advantage is that now you actually see where the crosshair is aiming, the center of the screen is aiming, and you can, see the block you are building or, something that you are manipulating with. And there will be also a shortcut for switching the shoulders, so like left, right, or back to center.
Oh, so cool. Yeah.
And I think it's much better, to be honest. And I think it's interesting feature because I'm also like a little bit not sure, or I wasn't sure about this feature because I knew that we need it because, having the character with his head, where the crosshair is, it's always, like obfuscating or obscuring where you're looking at. So I knew that, what we have in the game is not good. But then when we tried this right shoulder camera, there were also some problems with aiming and everything. So, I was a little bit unsure about the whole thing. But I think now when we selected the right offset, which is 20 centimeter, and vertical offset is a little bit higher, I think it's really nice, and it will just feel much better. And let's say cinematic, to run around with a third-person character, because you see him also from a side, which gives you a better, I don't know, like a emotional connection to your character. So that's that. And then, as you mentioned, the undo redo, I think that's nice one. New sounds we are working on, and they are not even mentioned in the blog post, like in every detail. But Lukáš, who is working on it, like he's just going crazy, and he's redoing so many sounds and improving them. It's really good. And so the ship sounds, so when the ship is accelerating and so on, then collision or impact sounds, and we have impact sounds and then crash and collision sounds, and they are different based on the size of the ship, and if the ship collides with another ship, or if it collides with voxels, because then you want to have some kind of like rock elements in it, and there are so many variations. So that's he's working on it. Then he's also improving the sounds of the debug gun shooting, and again bullet impacts and explosions and so on. So he went crazy there. And then there is the jetpack, the new jetpack boost mode that we have, that you hold the shift key, it kind of like boosts up for, I think it's 1 or 2 seconds, and then it kind of kicks you forward, with this like boosted mode. So there are some sound effects, camera shake. It just feels much more rewarding. So that's there. And then last that I can comment now is the character, the first-person animations that we are improving. So we are bringing back the character shadow in the first person, as we disabled that just temporarily because that was the quick fix we had to do. But now it's back, and the character shadow looks nice. And we also improve all the first-person animations of your hands and the tools or gun that you hold in your hand. So now it's the proper first-person way of doing things, where the tool is stable, and aiming at the center of the screen. And even if you look down and up or left and right, the hand with the tool stays stable in your hand. And so that's really good. And because again, most people will play the game in first person, and I think first person, like you can do first person camera in kind of like let's call it.
We had that funny video, didn't we? We had that funny video recently.
But what I want to say is that I think there are games that do really good first person camera, so it feels stable and you feel connected to the character, and you don't feel some kind of secondary movements. So like you move forward, the camera moves like like a point, and then it stops, and there are no these movements that when your head like keeps moving forward and backwards, and some kind of like waving movements or shaking and so on. So I think games like Call of Duty, they do the first person camera very well. And then there are some other games where you still feel that you are moving, but also the game is moving your camera, even though you actually don't want those movements, but the game is still doing it. So and many games are still doing this, and I think it's very wrong. And as a player, I just don't like it. So that's why we are pushing in this direction quite a lot, and like much more than in SE1. And So that will be a good experience, in my opinion, for first person. So yeah, I think it's going very nice. And then, of course, there are things we didn't talk about, things for VS2. So some of the things people can actually see from my dev diary.
Yes.
So that's,
definitely.
like, again, a reminder that to start watching my dev diary, but also subscribe to the newsletter. And in the dev diary, I'm usually posting these, little things from the development and that caught my attention during the week. And I'm sure I was showing a lot from the flora for planets, the
beautiful.
water, and so that's going to look nice. One of the, I think, really challenging things that we are working on, and I didn't share this yet, is the material transitions on the planet. So, like, let's say when grass ends and sand, starts, and so in SE1 we do the transition just on, like one voxel to another voxel. It's this kind of sharp transition. So, like, one voxel is grass, the other voxel is sand, and
very harsh.
The voxel in between is blended.
Yes.
So the transition actually is happening on the distance of 1 meter, and so it's, as you say, very harsh. So now we are experimenting with like longer distances for the transitions of the materials, but there are actually so many things that we still need to do to make planets look amazing and on a level that SC2 deserves. So there will be still a lot of work on that frontier. So yeah. But I'm enjoying it, and I believe the team is enjoying it as well.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, and there was that video. I mean, since the first release, we had the video of you in South Africa, and kind of with the testing space engineers in the field, which I know people really enjoyed. And that was really cool. And I think people are actually asking Marek for more of these videos, more like out in the field playing space engineers.
It was funny.
Inspiration.
And again, it was spontaneous idea. From the AI, we had that idea, so we took out the laptop, recorded a few of these things, and then put together. And actually, I think the music choice that we had, which is one of the tracks from the soundtrack. I just opened the folder, with the files, and I was listening and like thinking like which one would fit this video, and then I picked that one. It's kind of funny music, right?
Yeah.
And some kind of not tribal, but like just some kind of folk music, and it just fit the theme and kind of funny. So yeah, I think the video was really nice.
It was it was awesome. And just one other, I think you covered some very nice things that are, there's the whole list here, but I think you kind of aimed in on some of the very nice changes that the team are working on. And there was one other one that I remember pulling, I don't think it was mentioned, was the like the new model for the debug gun, right? Like right now it's just kind of from the hand, but this is something that you mentioned in your recent blog post was about a new model for this. I don't think it's been seen in the wild anywhere yet, but still that will be cool, I think.
Yeah, I think I didn't show it. But yeah, we are improving the debug gun quite a lot. So there will be muzzle effect, particle effect. The particle or projectile trace, we already have them, but we'll be improving them as well. Then the sounds, as I mentioned, and you can also destroy voxels. So you can shoot to, voxels, to the asteroids, and there is like an explosion and a little hole. So, but again, it's just a debug gun, it's just for fun, so people can enjoy the destruction. We're also improving the fracturing system so that the new blocks, they will have better, it's hard to explain, but basically when the block fractures, there are these parts where different materials connect. And in the original SC2 blocks, there is like a quite sharp transition. So we found a way how to make it like much more, seamless and actually realistic transition or way how different materials on that block connect. So all these new blocks, they will already have these new fracturing visuals. So that's another improvement. And yeah, I'm really enjoying working on SC2.
Yeah, that's the summary, I think. So yeah, we've really covered a lot of this already, guys. But then just again, we have the what's next, and I think we covered that 1.2, improved mechanics, Jetpack 2.0, and so on, and interface refinements. And then, of course, modding in 1.5, maybe 1.6, and more improvements. And then as we head towards, you know, something like 2.0 for the Planet Survival. So this is just another reminder, guys, to share your feedback through our support portal. There's a direct link to this in the F1 screen, so press F1. And this is, yeah, this is your direct line to the developers and the engineers community. So, yeah, you can definitely use this and vote on other ideas and so on. So I know Aaron feels very strongly about this one as well. So that's definitely an important one here.
Yes, I do.
I'm just covering over, yeah, we have suggestions. This is just going over the process of doing that. I'm just covering this. Continue to monitor the stability. And I see some people in chat. There's been a few issues brought up in the chat. So stay tuned, guys. If you are experiencing, it might be something to do with the update just came out and there's, you know, so many people uploading already. How many pages are we up to now? I saw someone said we're up to 8 pages of workshop items already. I reckon it's probably 12, 13, 14 at this point. So we have the Marek's dev diaries, which we covered as well. And this is the final part of today's blog post, which I wanted to cover, I think. Just making sure. Yes, very good. So we're just going to cover the FAQ here a little bit, guys. And then, yeah, then we can kind of jump in and see what people are being pasting. So, well, actually, this is one of the more general FAQs. And I think, I'm not sure we need to go over all of it here, but this is, you know, talking about... you know, will all the blocks in SE1 be in SE2? And I think we covered this. I was just seeing if there's anything particular about this update. I'm not sure, again, Marek and Aaron, if there's one of these you want to address, but we have covered these points a lot. You know, for example, PlayStation, Xbox. Definitely we're focused on PC, but definitely want to bring Space Engineers 2 to more platforms in the future, guys, for example here. But I think we covered all of these points in general. But if there's anyone that you want to really, again, reiterate, guys, you're more than welcome to here as we finish off the blog post. But yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I think we're good. So yeah, in general, I'll link. We'll get some links in the chat for this blog post, guys, so you can read it in your own time, reread it, make sure you're fully up to date. I'm sure Aaron will get some links in the chat. And what I'll do now is I'll just have a little.
We'll get some links in there.
Awesome. So I'm going to load back into the world, and I will have a little look to see what players have already been posting. Oh, we're going to do a little bit of Q&A as well. So what I'll say for this section, guys, we know there's always a lot of questions on Space Engineers 2, and I will play in the background. But the key thing is that we really, it's very important for us to focus in on the questions relevant to today's update or the game so far, even though I know you have a lot of questions about, you know, survival, multiplayer in the future, but try your best now, guys. I know it's tempting to really come up with some questions for today's update for Marek, Aaron, and myself to address here today. And Aaron, if there's anything that have come up from, you know, from either you or Drury during the stream that you've seen asked or kind of brought up a lot in the chat, feel free to jump into it right now. Let's see. I'll see if I can pull out some questions here before I.
Yeah, I'm having a look through. That were asked early on.
You're right.
More demands than questions.
More demands. I know. Demands. Well, you can put demands in the chat, guys. It's actually it's still feedback, and we have developers in the chat reading those things. But in terms of what we're going to address in today's stream, we really want to take this opportunity, as it is the release of 1.1, to address 1.1 related things as well. Say. So let me have a look then. In the meantime, I'll let you guys answer some questions, and I will see how the workshop's looking here. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm going to need this. Right, so obviously our keen stuff is at the top here. We've got the Connolly ship Napier.
Any additional slope?
Oh, go ahead, Marek. Sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, sorry. There's a little bit of a delay there.
Yeah, but,
some people are asking, are we planning on adding any additional slopes?
So this is, I guess, more armor blocks, Marek. You know, more variants of armor blocks and stuff like that. Anything you can? I mean, again, this is not not the ideal question, but if you want to address that, Marek, you know, feel free.
Yeah, definitely there will be more shapes and stuff, but I would like to not go to the details because we are still analyzing those things and designing, and also making sure that we don't add unnecessary amount of shapes and so on. So yeah, basically what we said also early, that the blocks that are in SE2 right now, it's just the first set, of course, not everything, and we had to stop it at some point. So more shapes, I believe there will be, but I would like to not promise any details right now because it's still ongoing.
Understandable. Okay, let's see. Joining in, is the taking of SE1 blueprints to SE2 blueprints a one-step process or a few-step process? Maybe that's one for you, Aaron. There.
Oh, so the tool.
If they want to get a build from SE, yeah.
Yes. So if you want to get a build from Space Engineers 1, Space Engineers 2, we do have a tool available. There's a link to it on the blog post, and I'll try and dig it out now and put it in the chat as well. But the tool is super straightforward to use, but you've got to bear in mind that not all the blocks that are in Space Engineers 1 are in Space Engineers 2. So it will give a rougher design that then you'll have to fit with your own sort of block, with your own blocks and your own styling from the blocks that are available in Space Engineers 2. But I'll quickly grab that as a link as well.
I'm seeing some interesting things. Honestly, it's so cinematic browsing the workshop. I'm seeing Verdure, Magical Planet Don't Touch. I don't even want to know what that is, but it's already been posted. So let's have a look at the blueprints here. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys are seeing some of these on the screen. We've got a beautiful expand ship here. That fighter's doing very well. Some of the things that we saw, this is amazing. We've got Space Shuttle, we've got Star Wars, we've got Among Us, we've got no, it wasn't the Up House, but the modules here, Halo. It's amazing here. And there's so many pages, guys. I'm going to be scrolling for a long time. Let me just keep scrolling here, and I'll see what comes up. And maybe if anything takes your fancy, we can load it into the world here. Wow. This is what I'll be doing. This is how I say. This is I can tell I'll be lost in here, looking at this. A color palette paste in. Oh man. This is very cool. Okay. Will there be a workshop front page to highlight the most popular items, like the scroll on Steam Workshop? So I guess, guys, this is a question about changes to the in-game workshop. Like, obviously on the Steam Workshop, you have like the kind of front page and some kind of rankings. I mean, this here does have a sorting thing, but can we expect the workshop in-game to have some kind of like featured sections and stuff like this in the future?
So, Joel, if that's a question for me, then yes, I think there will be improvements like this. Maybe not specifically this, but improvements like this to the workshop in the future.
Awesome, fantastic. That was good. It's a good question there. A VS 1.1 question. Let's see. Let's have a look. There's a question about. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I have also two questions that I saw people discussing quite a lot, and the chat already answered the questions, but I also want to answer them because I just feel like it. So there was a discussion, why workshop now? Why not some other features? And the reason is that SE was always about community creations and this ecosystem where people can create and share and other people can then play and so on. So UGC, user generated content. So that's why it was kind of logical to start with workshop. And it's also the step before we can do modding, and modding also is something. I mean, the counter argument could be that SE2 player base will not be as big as SE1 for some time. So maybe somebody can say that, okay, why are you doing it? If it will have smaller player base, but we still thought that adding UGC support, workshop, and modding should be the first thing to do, so that we can first kickstart the community, and second, give people chance to start sharing. And that's actually also the point that I think that when people be able to share what they create, they will be more happy, and also they have more content because they can check out the workshop and see what other people created and then play with it and so on. So it's creating it will create a lot of content while we can focus on VS2 and similar things. So that was why workshop now.
That's a good point.
There was a question if there will be VS 1.3, and it's actually a good question. And I saw it for the first time now. I was actually kind of waiting until somebody will ask this question. So there will not be VS 1.3, or at least we are not planning it. We just pick those numbers, to be honest, and we put them like a little bit far from each other so that we have some reserve, in case we need to insert something in between, and we didn't want to mess up our internal numbering system, like every time we had to add something, because originally there was only VS1 and VS2, that was our plan. Then we realized that we cannot wait for so long until VS2. We need to do some things earlier, so we are analyzing which things can be done independently from the main work on VS2, and that was of course workshop and modding and then these other smaller things. So that's how VS 1.1, 1.2 and 1.5 were brought to light. And actually then later, and maybe this was even in January, we came up with the idea that we'll probably also need VS 1.6 where we will have the feedback from players from 1.5 and so on. So there will not be 1.3, I think, or at least that something big would change, but I think it's very unlikely because the roadmap is already set in stone. People are working on it, and changing it for 70 people, would also bring some cost, which eventually would mean delays, and we don't want delays. So I think we'll stick with the plan and just like really push.
I think that was a good question to kind of touch on, Marek, for sure. Yeah, and I mean also with the workshop now, like, the workshop did have to come before modding, because let's say like, we didn't have workshop till later or until modding, but obviously modding is one thing, but they need a way to share those mods in a safe way, and then people might be like, why modding so soon? But again, it is about the UGC, user-generated content, because you guys go absolutely crazy with this, be it builds, worlds, mods, and I think a lot of people would agree on the fact that this is one of the most powerful kind of pillars of the space engineers community here. So I think that was the logic there. But I'm just looking at this first world here. I've looked at this world. Sorry, I'm going to comment on that, but I was just going to quickly say this is a beautiful ship here. This is the Worm by, let me get the name up here. Gone blank. Go ahead, Aaron. Did you want to say something, Aaron? I'm not sure. Add to that?
No, it's all right. It's all right. We can continue on.
The Worm Freighter here. The Worm Freighter. Where am I? I had the name. This was the Worm Freighter by, I can search Worm. Oh, no, hold on. Browse Workshop, search Worm. The Worm Freighter by Green Power Spider. Very nice little freighter here. I can see this is designed for kind of taking cargo on journeys, but beautiful lighting in here, beautiful kind of detailing on the walls and the corridors. There's a very, very nice ship here. So one of the first public builds I've taken out from the Steam Workshop, and as we leave this hangar very dramatically here. And I can't wait for us to have a screenshot competition. I think it's probably getting close to that time now that we've especially got this workshop as well, because I'm always saying this as well, Marek, is that the game so often just looks like cinematic just by default. And I think what you said, even before the game released, this thing that it's never been easier to get beautiful looking screenshots, if that makes sense. Like you just, you put a ship somewhere, you kind of get like a decently good angle and you take a screenshot and it just looks good because of the way SE2 looks, honestly.
Yeah, actually I think it's hard to get ugly looking screenshot. And so maybe we should make like the most ugly, screenshot competition, because I think that will be challenge, right? Rather not do it,
An even harder one to win.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see in the meantime here while I check out some stuff. Let's have a look at some more questions. Well, John C. I know Aaron feels strongly about this one. John C's asking about 3D printing our builds like we can in SE1. Because I think people are still doing this themselves. More and more people have their own printers, and the export tool is is still in SE1 and is in good use. So this probably isn't like in terms of priorities isn't up there, Marek. But do you think this is something that will do it at some point, like have this ability to export grids into like a file for people to do what they want with?
You mean like a 3D object file?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's not like in a plan right now, and or in the roadmap. Like in theory, it's possible. I think we have it in SE1. I mean, I'm quite sure that we did it, for the 3D printing and so on. But I just lost track. I don't know,
That's
if it's
okay,
still
yeah.
in SE1, if it works.
It's still in, and it still does work. Some people still do use it to print stuff.
But more so as people doing their own printing rather than outsourcing it. But I'm sure prices have come down for printing, so there could be like I'm curious to know, guys. Well, let's put it to the chat then. So I'm sure a lot of you have your own printers, but I'm curious how many of you guys, if this service was to exist again, where basically you don't have a printer, but you would basically upload your blueprints and you would pay a service. You'd pay a service to print ships for you. Just give me an 07 in the chat if this is something that's like legitimately interesting, because we always are talking about merch and plushies and stuff, and all this is definitely planned, but I think in the past it was 3D printing was more expensive, but the cost and the quality the quality's gone up and the costs have come down for doing this, and more people have it themselves. But I would be curious to know if there's like this demand to have people print their own ships. I know me and Aaron are talking about it quite recently, actually.
Yeah, it's nice being able to print your ship, as well as being able to print your ship in game in SE1 as well. A lot of people
That's true.
Pull things in and out of printers, so there's like a whole printing community within space engineers as well. But yeah, the ships that we're seeing on screen, especially all the ones that are getting uploaded to the workshop now, and there's some funny ones being uploaded to the workshop as well.
Of course.
So it's lovely to see what everyone's coming out with, and it'll be exciting though tomorrow morning. What is going to be at the top of the Steam workshop? That'll be the question.
Yeah, I'm struggling to decide what to look in right now. There's so many. I'm pulling ones. Some of the ones that look. I mean, there's lots of interesting ones here. This was just unusual shape from the top. Let's have a look. There's a lot of in YouTube especially, a lot of 07s. A lot of people would be interested in printing their ships. That's definitely cool to take note of, guys. What's this here? The Flyer Mark 1 by Makak. Let's have a little look. Ooh, listen, a very different kind of build here. Man, it says, thank you for sharing your vision with us, Marek. I know, that guy I think comes to, Marek, that I know people in general really are happy with the kind of increase in transparency in talking about what we're doing. I think I've seen so many comments about this across the community. I think this is definitely been a great thing, and I know that you've been also enjoying following all the community's input so far too.
It's just spectacular, isn't it, to see what they're building, and as quickly as they're coming out with uploading these blueprints. So there must have been weeks of storage that the players had of working on these prints and then getting them ready for today, even though they didn't know today was coming until only about a week ago or so. But then they've got their grids up, ready to launch. Everyone's checking them out, everyone's downloading them, and it'll be interesting to see how many sort of likes or whatnot some of these people are going to get on the grids tomorrow.
Man, for me though, I'm just looking at this, like everything just looks so good. I'm like unbelievably immersed right now. Just like this massive hangar, the lighting, and seeing these ships come in here. Like whenever I load up SE2, I'm always got a big smile across my face. It's always just so cool.
And it will only look better. To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't even want to comment, to be honest, because I already see, like things that we can improve. So that by default it will look even better. And I think it's good to say that, like, this is the worst.
The worst it will look.
Yeah.
That's actually a good way of saying it, Marit. So you guys are looking at the worst of SE2 right now. Oh man. Well, it's a good starting point. It's a hell of a starting point, that's for sure. It's funny seeing as well, we see people here with that kind of building custom turrets as well. Like this ship here has a very nice custom turret on top of it here. Here we go. So this is a Flyers Mark 1 here. I like the look of this. The wings, very nice.
You're right though about them custom turrets, aren't they? I think some of the custom turrets people are building as well are designed to like replicate, you know, turrets that are in Space Engineers 1. Some of the missile turrets I've seen some people build as well. But the interiors with them 25 centimeter cubes, wow, they come into their own, don't they? With these little racks and docking areas where they can sit, and the gyroscope rotating in there just looks fantastic.
So true, and I think whenever I jump into a cockpit, I'm always reminded as well, like I love this feeling of like the custom cockpits that people have now in the ship. This is very, very nice. So big shout out to all the kind of creators that we're showing here, because this is just day one. I'll try and remember these builds in the years to come, and we look back and go, oh, I remember that ship back in the day. So yes, let me see if there's some more questions here. Again, Marek, Aaron, if you see ones, the best thing is if you see ones that you have good answers to. But
I'm keeping my eye out for them ones. Some of the questions I'm not too sure we'll have the answers to just yet.
Yeah, of course. Like it's better to answer the questions that we do have good answers to, rather than just like, don't know, you know. So we'll try and hit some of these. Oh, here's an interesting one for you, Marek. I don't know if today's the best day for saying it, but a question from Patrick. What will be the deciding factor for when Space Engineers 1 development will end and all effort will go to SE2? I understand you don't know when, but what conditions will drive that decision? So that's an interesting one there, but I don't know if you've got it. Yeah, see.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's okay to talk about this honestly and transparently.
Yeah.
And like right now, we are not even thinking about it. But you know, since you ask, I'm thinking about what, you know, like simulating in my head. What would that deciding factor be? And I think logically it would be a moment when the players from SE1 migrated to SE2, and there is, I don't know, like almost nobody or very few people still playing SE1 because everybody likes SE2. And the question is, what is the ratio? What would be the ratio? Because I believe that some people will still be playing SE1 even in 50 years.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. So what I think is still open is the ratio. Probably, you know, again, I'm speaking really honestly.
That's okay.
We'll look on you know, the revenue that SE1 would be bringing at the moment versus how much you know, the future maintenance would cost. So we'll definitely compare this, but probably do it holistically, big picture, considering, you know, also like what SE1 means for SE2 and so on. So it doesn't need to be just like pure economical decision, but you know, there can be also some emotion there. So that's I think a deciding factor. And even if we stop doing new updates for SE1, you know, meaning like you know, major updates, I think it's still possible that some small team of few programmers will stay on the game maybe even longer, for years.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that we, you know, like how to say it, because there are always some like operating system changes and driver changes and so on, and you never know, you know, when your game gets broken by some driver update, you know, 3 years from now. So it's somebody who can maintain at least that. So I think those will be, you know, the last guardians of SE1. And yeah, that's that. But I also want to emphasize that SE1 and SE2, that each of them, they have their own dedicated team, and there is no overlap in a sense of development. So, you know, programmers working on SE1 are only working on SE1, and they don't touch SE2. I mean, unfortunately, they don't even speak to each other that much, you know, because everybody's
busy.
Working, almost everybody's busy and also remote, so it's hard to get people into same room and make them speak. Actually, we do it once per year. We have this spring week in Prague, where everybody flies to Prague, and we are there for a few days, entire team. But anyway, there are two dedicated teams. SE1 is 30 developers, SE2 is 70 developers. So, yeah, this is my thinking.
That's
about that.
that's a solid answer, to be honest. I mean, it's really key, guys. That and in some ways, that answer kind of means it's up to the community in a sense. If how many in the future, in the years to come, how many players will be in SE1 still? And again, if it's 50-50, then it's like, oh well, okay, well, here we go. So I think the migration, as we'll call it, or the transition from SE1 to SE2, I think that's definitely interesting. I think an interesting point that could affect exactly how long it's developed for. So yeah, that's encouraging in terms of SE longevity. Yeah, of course, because we love SE1, and SE1 is it's the, how to word it, has our child, I guess. I don't know, is that the good way of saying it?
I think it might be, yeah. I think it might be a good way of saying it, because there is two other questions that are popping up here as well.
Go ahead.
Is, will the SE1 to SE2 conversion tool keep getting updated, Marek?
Yeah, and it is definitely, and because in VS2 we will have like a bunch of new blocks, and we need to make sure that the tool can convert between those blocks or those blocks between SE1 and SE2. So let's say there will be, assembler, or actually assembler is already in VS1, but there will be some new block, let's say some conveyor block, and again we need to make sure that they are being mapped and the tool understands how they can convert from SE1 to SE2. So there will be this ongoing support, definitely. And I'm not sure if we released the tool, as an open source. Actually, I just realized that maybe we can do that. So I will look into that. And
Okay.
I think that's the answer.
And there was another one you had there as well, I think, Aaron?
Yes, I did have another one. So the other one was commenting once again on armored slopes, and people definitely want armored slopes, Marek. So
Windows.
just as you said before, more blocks will be added. So don't panic there. The other question was more about when will rotors and hinges be added. Marek, have you got any information on rotors and hinges you could give?
Yeah, we don't have them yet, specifically planned for any of these vertical slices. So I'm not sure. And again, the reason is that we are heavily focusing on VS2 and VS3, and so it's maybe possible that we can put them to VS3, because VS3 is, the main thing about VS3 is water, but only small part of the team will be working on the water, so there is a lot of possibility for other things that we still can add to VS3, and so maybe pistons will be that, but we didn't plan VS3 in such a detail yet, so I think it's still open. It will not be in VS2, that's for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
There we are.
Because another question that I've seen, I'm not seeing it answered just here, but it's been asked before, is the addition of conveyors. A lot of players have been asking if they'll be able to get their hands on conveyors anytime soon. So when they build a ship, they can plan with conveyors in mind. Is there anything you could comment on that, Marek?
Yeah, I think they will come in VS2 unless I completely, messed up my memory, and. Just a few hours ago, we had this discussion about putting some blocks maybe earlier in some micro vertical slices. So that's something that we can consider. But again, I don't want to promise it to the players right now, because it's just a few hours since we had this idea. Yeah, but I think that's something that we could consider.
Another question about the liquids. Are they planning any other liquids but water?
It's a question to get Marek talking about volcanoes again, I guess. I can tell.
They like this one, don't they?
Yeah. So for now it will be only water, and but then later, But let's talk about some future update, in far future. I think other liquids and also gases could be cool. Some kind of terraformation update, or a big terraformation modification of the game. And because I when I was thinking about this, like having oil and volcanoes or lava, magma, those kind of things, I think can be quite amazing. And so yeah, short answer, in VS3 it will be just water, but like in the future we would definitely want to use our water system for like more types of liquids and gases.
And now there's a question that I know you can definitely answer here. Are there any plans to add camera effects such as camera shake, perspective change during greater sense of speed? So you could talk about the jetpack booster on that one.
Yeah. So camera shake is already in the game, and we are like slowly improving it. And one of the things that we did recently is that the camera shake is also rotating the camera slightly. So not just shaking, up and down and left and right, but also slightly rotating, because if it was only like horizontally and vertically, shaking your camera position, you would not see the changes in the skybox, or basically the skybox wouldn't shake, because it's like so far that any changes in your position, like they don't mean nothing. It's just like looking at stars. If you move 1 meter to your left side, the stars are still at the same location. Like because, they are too far away to have some kind of like impact on that perspective. And so we added this like rotation, the camera shake. So and the camera shake is used when you are in some impact or collision, when you are accelerating with your jetpack, and when you are shooting, although that's also connected to the animation. And I'm just thinking where are the other examples for camera shake? I think these are the only ones. And then regarding, like narrowing the field of view for like enhancing the speed feeling, that's something that we didn't do, but I think we considered it in some design. So it's actually a good reminder. I will look on this again, because that can be a good way also how to increase the feeling of speed. Otherwise, you don't have that much feeling of speed.
Because I know, touching on the camera movement as well, when we had a look at it the other day, Joel, when the camera was using the new sort of ship movement, when the ship flew around or the character moved around objects, the camera also adjusted for that object or the height of the object.
Yeah,
to move the
that
camera
was
down.
so nice. Yeah, very nice. That was I think that was in one of the blog posts, right? And one of that was awesome. Yeah. Well, I say, guys, I've been busy here, pacing in some of the kind of filling up. I'm trying to, because there's some really big ships here, so I'm trying to pace stuff that I can. Oh, there's a cowboy hat, things that I can fit inside. But there's some beautiful ships here that I'm kind of getting inside of this hangar. This hangar is incredibly very satisfying as a background to have as part of this. So, wow. They continue to get pasted here. So maybe, guys, we can have a look at a few more questions before we begin to wrap today's stream up, to try and keep it a little bit compact today. So yeah, I'm not sure if there's any other major points you guys wanted to really emphasize and address today.
In terms of points to emphasize is the feedback point. Once again, provide your feedback over on our support portal, report the bugs that you're running into to us, and also upvote bugs that you're experiencing as well. That's the key thing here, is provide the feedback so we can look into these issues and we can resolve them. And when you're providing feedback as well, have a good think, have a check through the other posts there as well, and make sure you're not duplicating other people's bug reports or feedback there as well. And you can even add to them posts if you want to make some additions.
Yeah, a very, very good point indeed. Yeah, that's a key one.
I don't know if you touched on this either, Joel, as well, is with the lovely trailer that we have produced for this vertical slice. If you want to share that with any other engineers out there or potential engineers, to show them where we're up to in Space Engineers 2 development, that woed be lovely as well.
Please, guys. Yeah, that is definitely a good point. To basically, community call to action here. So if you share that trailer around, let people know, let all your friends and family know that Workshop is here for Space Engineers 2. It's a good point. I'm looking for one more ship here. Let's see if I can load this in. Let's see here. But yeah, no, we can, I think, guys, let me have a double check. So obviously there's going to be a lot more blog posts even this week. There's going to be more videos. There's going to be more streams very soon. So plenty of, you know, connection with the community, and also there will be more SE1 stuff as well as we approach that next release. So definitely stay tuned for that one as well, guys. So I think at this point, guys, if Marek, if you have some final thoughts for today, and yeah, any reminders on your side, I guess we can start to kind of bring today to a close. Even though it's been a fantastic occasion, it's been very cool to have all these. You know, have this launch and to have so many amazing builds published already here.
Yeah, so I just want to thank players who are reading the dev diaries and leaving their comments there. I'm reading it all and, you know, interacting when I can. And that's amazing. Also, thanks to everybody who is creating blueprints now and posting to Workshop. That's amazing. And I'm, you know, looking forward to tomorrow and so to check the creations. And last thing, I'm looking forward to releasing VS 1.2, hopefully soon.
Yeah, I hope so too. Like already, you know, the game has not been out very long and we've already had a very important update come out today. So I do not think that the next updates will be very far behind either. So thank you. Again, and I think for me, I'll just finish off by saying, echoing the same really. Thank you guys for all the support. It's been amazing, and it always has been. And today's a massive day for the community. I know the team is going to be eagle-eyed on the workshop to see exactly what you've been building and will be building in the coming weeks. And the support site, the Discord, definitely get involved with all these things. And merch as well. SE2 merch has been launched. So you guys can get your very own, I don't think I have one on right now today, but your very own Almagist system bearing project t-shirts and similar. So that's, I think, the final points of today, I reckon. Unless they've got anything else, Aaron?
It is. No, I think that's perfect. I think that's been a really lovely stream. Everything has been covered in great detail. The blog post there is available, so you can check that out. You can also check out the sort of behind the scenes developer leaks. I think that sounds more fun, doesn't it? Where Marek gives us some exciting new features. Check that out as well. That post only just went up on Friday, and there's loads of awesome things that are happening in the community. So join us on Discord, share your creations, use that hashtag SE2, and get involved with this amazing community that Space Engineers has created. And thank you, guys.
Yeah, and I think actually in that case, there's only 4 final shout outs. A shout out for everyone who, oh, here we go, my ship just loaded in. A shout out for Aaron and Marek for joining me on today's stream. Oh, hold on. Give me a second. I've got some, wait. Yes, this is good. I always close a second. Yeah, shout out to Marek and Aaron for joining me. Thank you for all the community for joining us today in the streams and to the amazing creations that we've already showcased today. I forgot all the names, but there were some great builds today. So really want to thank you guys. We're going to end with the trailer, and we'll see you all very soon. Thank you so much. And the team. The team. Shout out to the team, as always.
Thank you.
All the team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks to the team for making this possible.
The biggest shout out of them all.
All the long hours, that tough development that they've been pushing through to get these features to you guys. Thank you guys for pushing through that.
All right.
They're the heroes.
Oh, the heroes. Yeah, the heroes. Yeah. Fantastic. So we wave goodnight to you guys, and we'll see you all very soon. Get cracking on those uploads. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Rise and shine, folks. I got another task from Dante. This time, he wants me to build a basic utility ship to be used as a blueprint for other engineers here in the Almagist system. The Stellar Rig will act as a universal utility class ship that can be adapted to almost every kind of job. I'll build the ship over here. Let me quickly set up the camera for you so you can watch. The process is pretty easy. I build the ship from modules I have created before. Then blueprint it and send it over to the others so they can adapt what I've done to their needs. There, all done. The next step is creating the blueprint out of this beauty. All done. Just uploading it to the workshop and people can directly start using it. That's it for me today. I wonder what my fellow space engineers will create. Steam Workshop is live now. Share your blueprints and discover the creations already there.